Joy commands the hardy mainspring of the universe etern, Schiller once wrote. Our short introduction to the Eibach company and our springs naturally starts with you, our customers. You are looking for a spring you can rely on, perhaps a high-quality standard design, perhaps a customized solution. We can draw on more than 50 years of experience, the ideal basis for delivering a product that is second to none. Eibach is a family business, now in its third generation. We've come a long way from a half-timbered cottage in Germany's Sauerland region to sales and development locations in Europe, the US, Asia, and Australia, some with their own manufacturing operations. As soon as we receive your order, we start designing and calculating. At the same time, the material stock is checked. Our steel is subjected to rigorous quality control. Moreover, it is tailor-made to meet our requirements, and therefore we are able to develop designs which would never have been possible using conventional materials. Over the years, we have developed our own production technologies which we have used to set new standards, for example in cold forming. Springs are manufactured according to the specific area of application. Hot forming is a classic method which today we only use for springs with high rod diameters up to 55 millimeters. Springs with a wire diameter of 18 to 32 millimeters are cold formed, according to the same mandrel principle, and then hardened and tempered. We've developed our own CNC-controlled machines for this process. In contrast to coiling stronger springs, smaller wire dimensions are manufactured using a special winding technique. This type of automated machinery is used to produce springs with wire thicknesses of 0.2 to 24 millimeters in diameter, with the highest precision and allowing intricate designs as required for chassis springs. But the use of these high-tech processes does not mean that we have forgotten our roots. Even today, our highly skilled team still coils small quantities and special applications by hand. Metal is a dynamic material. It lives and works, and every coil of steel is different. However, to enable us to meet all quality requirements as perfectly as possible, a test spring must pass all the necessary tests before series production commences. Naturally, a high level of experience is required to be able to evaluate how the material will behave under particular conditions. Next, as a rule, comes the process of grinding the spring ends. This must be performed with the utmost accuracy in order to avoid any skewing of the spring ends. The prerequisite: end surfaces that are straight in relation to one another and an accurately centered spring axis. Grinding is a very time-consuming process. In order to save time, large wire diameters are prepared by welding robots. After the grinding process, the sharp burrs are then removed according to your requirements and the edges chamfered. Our springs obtain their storable energy and service life as a result of three processes, which we call the magic triangle: tempering, surface strain hardening, and presetting. During tempering, the springs are heated up to 400 degrees Celsius in chambers or continuous furnaces, so that the material takes on the new shape and structure and, like a perm in hairstyling, keeps it permanently. Surface strain hardening by means of shot peening is a procedure which unfortunately we cannot show graphically. In this machine, the springs are bombarded with small steel balls which act like thousands of small forging hammers. After this process, the surface is harder and more resistant, and the service life has been increased. During presetting, the spring is compressed once, as we say, to block, in order to quasi-acclimatize it before first use. However, long springs in particular can easily become malformed by heating and processing. In this regard, only a trained eye and a feel for the material can help to obtain the required final result. After each of the described steps, all spring dimensions are checked as a matter of course. Next, there is a more in-depth inspection. Using the so-called magnetic flux testing process, each spring is individually checked for material faults, such as fractures. This inspection is the first in a whole series of tests which our springs must pass before they leave our factory. As we are committed to designing products of minimum weight and maximum flexibility, a highly sophisticated surface protection is required. First of all, a phosphate layer is applied in our coating plant, followed by an electrostatically applied powder coating, which is then baked. In addition, we also use further corrosion protection methods depending on the spring size and its application. You can often tell an Eibach spring simply by our logo. In addition, however, you will also find a specific color code which identifies the load groups and, of course, the serial number. In accordance with quality standard ISO 9001, the springs also bear the date of manufacture so that we are able to trace back each individual piece. This information is either printed on a metal band or engraved. At the end, there is the final inspection, a final check of the dimensions, the spring rate, and other specifications. In fatigue tests, suspension springs must, for example, withstand at least 500,000 times the full application of load and subsequent relief. Other products that we manufacture are even vibrated up to 3 million cycles, for example, springs for fuel injection pumps. And this is a growing trend. For many years, we have considered it our task to think beyond springs. In addition to service in the sector of industrial springs, this brings an abundance of further tasks which we set ourselves. One of the most important of these is motorsport in its various forms. We see the challenges in, for example, Formula One, Formula 3, Touring Car Series, or the World Rally Championship as an ideal test bed for new innovations. With our suspension development truck, we also act as on-the-spot technical consultants at races. By being where the action is, we are able to constantly improve our own designs which are also used by famous racing schools. These innovations then also benefit our activities in series design. We develop and manufacture stabilizers in our own factory, and we also design shock absorbers and prototypes in-house. Thus, we are able to offer suspension systems in which each component, spring, shock absorber, and stabilizer, is perfectly coordinated and synchronized. Our Pro Kit, Sport Line, Pro Damper, and Anti-Roll Kit are just a few of the state-of-the-art solutions which we can offer for the road. Springs, spring systems, and performance suspension are our passion. Our motto, Tension and Balance, stands for exciting new challenges on the one hand, and for the balance maintained in our day-to-day operations on the other, both internally between our members of staff and in contact with you, our customers, suppliers, and other partners. But above all, tension and balance also characterize the physical characteristics of our products. With the spring, we associate muscular activity, which converts energy into tension and stores it, and which controls kinetic energies, transforming them into equalizing balance. We will therefore also continue in the future to put all our efforts into not just supplying you with high-quality springs, but also acting as your consultant and partner in all areas related with spring systems. We have set high-quality standards for ourselves, and we will do everything we can to meet these for you. Because, to say it with Ralph Waldo Emerson, passion is a powerful spring.